The one that we saw yesterday against Fiorentina was a different Juventus, but unfortunately it's exactly the same result. Again, a draw, the 13th in all competition for this Juventus, 11th in Serie A. We were asking for continuity, Thiago Motta was asking for continuity, and we had continuity. Unfortunately, not the continuity that we wanted. We continue to draw, we continue to concede goals. It's already the 5th games in Serie A in a row that we concede goals. We continue to see and to make these horrible mistakes, especially towards the end of the game. And we continue with our inability to close the games. Ciao Juventini of the world, my name is Giuseppe, welcome back on the channel. I don't know if I asked it already or not, but put a maximum of like, continue to subscribe to the channel if you didn't yet, and if you trust the channel, you know it costs you 0 and it's helping me so much, it's now the moment to do it. If you find the strength in these last days of 2024, if you already put more than 100 likes during the season, thank you, but it's not over, continue to do it. Ragazzi, we'll speak about the game of yesterday, the 2-2. I saw some good things. I saw a different Juventus, but unfortunately we cannot speak about a good game because the result is a disaster, because we saw some extremely big and huge amateurish mistakes. Look, one thing that I want to put immediately clear is I disagree with those who say Thiago Motta is stubborn and he continues to repeat the same things, to do the same things. We want him to change things. I disagree strongly with that. I will show you in a few frames. The first one is yesterday, and I was asking for it since long time, we started the game. We started to play the game. A few videos ago, I was telling you that this was one of the problems, one of the things that I didn't like, that every single time that we were playing at home or away, we always gave these 5 minutes, these 10 first minutes to our opponents, which was absolutely not good. Yesterday we started, and also the same pattern in the second half. That goal of Khéphren Thuram, the second one, is coming immediately in the beginning of the second half, which means that we entered with a total different behavior. And this is already different with some of the few last games, or the games since the beginning of the season. We were asking for something different. Yesterday it was not only ball to Conceicao, dribble, and inshallah, because if you look, we were playing 47% of the time to the left, and we were actually playing a bit even more centrally, 26.9, than on the right side, 26.1. So we saw also there a different way of playing. Look, these 2 goals that are coming from the left side with Khéphren Thuram are not a coincidence. The first one, look at that, a Khéphren Thuram that is asking the ball and immediately go into that space, to attack that space. Something that we saw against Udinese, that we repeated yesterday, is something different, something that we were probably asking a bit earlier. That vertical play, he's doing it with an assist of Locatelli on the first goal, he's doing it on an assist of Koopmeiners on that second goal, always looking for that profondità, for that space between the lines. Grande, vertical, things that are different from this Juventus, and these are the things that makes me extremely happy. Of course, we need to speak about that fantastic performance of Locatelli yesterday. Of course, we need to speak about a really great performance with 2 goals, the 2 first one in Bianconero from Khéphren Thuram. Well done from both of them, that were, I think, far above all the other players that touched the field yesterday from the old lady players. So beautiful things, we saw them yesterday. A different Juve, we saw them. Unfortunately, we are conditioned by the result of the game, by the horrible mistake that we saw at the end, by the ranking of Serie A. If you're looking at the ranking of Serie A, we are 6th, and that's horrible. If you're looking at the results, 11 draws, and that's horrible for Juventus at match day 18. The fact that at the 30th of December, you cannot speak already about Scudetto, but it's already a few games that we cannot speak anymore about competing for the Scudetto, is something that is influencing us and impacting us a lot in seeing everything dark, everything really bad. On the other side, if there is one good news, is that speaking about the 4th spot, which was the target in the beginning of the season, we are only, with 20 games to play, at -3 from Lazio. Lazio that did 1-1 against Atalanta, a beautiful Lazio since the beginning of the season. Fiorentina yesterday, that was not that spectacular, because honestly, if you are looking at the game of yesterday, we probably deserved in the attempts, the creativity, in terms of the way of playing, in terms of where we were on the field, in terms of the possession. It was not a sterile possession. In terms of shots on targets, like the expected goals, we deserved that win against Fiorentina, which makes me hoping that we can probably go over and really fast over Fiorentina, reaching Lazio and hopefully going and surpassing Lazio. So I have beautiful news there. Guys, if you want to know and give yourself a really quick look at that ranking of Serie A, about the goals that we scored, that we conceded, how many draws, how many wins, how many changes, the lineups. If you want to go and analyze by yourself, of course, the link is into the description. It's totally for free. You also have the news, the latest news, and we are starting with Mercato. You know that I will go to Saudi Arabia on the 2nd of January. I will be away until the 7th, so I don't know how much I will be able to post, and especially how fast I will be able to post to speak about Mercato. So if you want to miss zero, if you want to be up to date with everything, the link is in the description. One Football is totally for free. Do it now, because now, of course, we have the big question. The big question is asked by Tutto Sport, and I will ask it twice today. The first time is, ma che Juve è? But what kind of Juve is it? What Juve is it? Because yes, we just spoke about the different things, about the beautiful things, but the result is always the same. What kind of Juve is it? Is it a big Juve? Is it a big team? Is it a good team? Is it a team with a project? Is it a project that we believe in? It's a lot of questions that we are asking ourselves at today. Look, yesterday I wrote it on Twitter after the game. I said, if you are not able to go with more than 3 times blocks of 2 games in a row in all competition, we have a problem. We have a problem, because continuity is what makes big teams. Continuity of victories is what makes actually you believe that you can go for big targets. If you win 1 time and you can't win the next game, if you are able to win 2 times and you cannot win that 3rd game, even if it's in a dirty way, you are not a big team. If every time that you win and then you play at home, you are not able to give continuity in what you were doing, we have a huge big problem. For X, Y, Z reason, we can speak about injuries, we can speak about bad management, we can speak about wrong choices from Thiago Motta, we can speak about goals that we missed, about mistakes that we did, we can speak about everything. But the reality is there. A big team is the one that can put continuity in result. Why am I speaking about Juventus being the biggest team in Italy historically? It's because of the Scudetti that we won. 38, which means that we are the biggest one. The 1,700 victories in Serie A. Continuity of result, the best result, the biggest result. 9 Scudetti in a row, continuity, while the other ones are changing every single year. A team that you can describe as great, that is writing history, is a team with continuity, which we don't have. And that's something that we need to change today. We have a huge problem there of continuity. And that's where, when we are looking at that ranking, and we see that we have a -3 of Lazio, you could say, 20 games, -3 from Lazio, easy. We will reach it. We will go in the top 4 without any discussion. On the other side, when you're looking at the fact that we are not able to give that continuity, then you're telling to yourself, but are we a big team that is even able to enter top 4 or not? Because if we continue like that, we will not make it, and that's a fact. Now, yesterday, a lot of people blamed Andrea Cambiaso for the Lecce 2 points that he gave away. For yesterday, his slip on the field. I don't want to blame Cambiaso today. I blamed him against Lecce. I don't want to blame him today. Of course, his mistake is costing us 2 points again, unfortunately. But I want to blame everyone there, starting with the coach. In the post-game, what is he saying? We wanted to continue to attack, because if you give the opportunity to Fiorentina to play their game, to attack, to be in our field, they will have attempts. They will probably score. And he's probably correct. But you cannot do it at the 86th minute, where Fiorentina, to be honest, were not even that dangerous. They were not. They had a few shots on target that were easy for Di Gregorio, except of that huge mistake that we were doing at the first half. But just I don't want to blame only Cambiaso. I want to blame everyone, starting from the mentality of the coach at the 86th minute, and that's a lesson that we should have learned after Cagliari, after Lecce, after so many games where we conceded in the last minutes. Stuttgart, for example. Now you have experience of understanding that this team is fragile in these last few minutes. If you are asking our team to play and to do this really strange, beautiful, fluid football, then we have a problem. And look at all the frames next to each other. We see that Cambiaso is on the ball. What is happening? You see a Kalulu that at that moment, because he knows that there is not a lot of pressure, or at least not a dangerous pressure on Andrea, He's going and running. He's running to actually, I don't know, unmarking himself, or I don't know, going up, asking to the team to go up altogether, where Cambiaso slips. Unfortunately, when he slips, we all understand that we have a huge problem, because Kalulu is not anymore in his position, not organized defense anymore at the 86th minute of the game, where you are winning only 2-1, you are not winning 3 or 4-1. What is happening? They all understand, and Locatelli is the first one that is actually throwing back, tracking back, running, going back, because you can already see the foot or the right leg of Moise Kean totally on the left of your screen. Thuram is following, Kalulu is trying to follow again. What do we see here a few seconds later, because we are speaking about seconds? We see that at that moment, Locatelli is a center back. Thuram recuperated the place as a center back. We see on the left side, Cambiaso that stood up after slipping, Kalulu that becomes a left back, and what do we see? That we don't see Gatti, or at least we can see it. You can again see the nose, the face, the arm of Gatti totally on the left part of your screen that is actually marking nobody. It's a totally unorganized, totally not structured defense. When Savona sees that nobody is going towards the number 8 of Fiorentina, the first thing that he's doing is putting some pressure. Otherwise, he would have had all the goal in front open. And that's where I go towards the people that criticized Savona. Where was Savona? Where was Savona? Well, the movement of Savona, of leaving his place, where the goal will come from, actually from Sotil, is because a totally unorganized defense with nobody that was going on the number 8 that had the ball. Not Gatti, and here you can really see on the image, Gatti that is there, like a pillar, I don't know, making actually the second goalkeeper, maybe paying attention, I don't know, but he's not making the right move, and because it's not going out, the two midfielders that became center backs, they are there, and they don't know. What do? We need to man mark a man, we do out, and Savona is losing his position. We continue, because there, Khéphren is giving some support, running back, because he understood that there was a problem. He came back to actually pay attention to that second post, and then you see a Conceicao. If on the other side, we always see a Kenan Yildiz coming back, a Bangula coming back to try back and to give some support on that left side, well, we don't see it always on the right side with a more offensive player like Conceicao, that yesterday, in all these seconds, in all these frames that you saw, we didn't see him tracking back. Khéphren did it, he was the last one. Conceicao is coming back, not running, he's coming back walking, and he's not even paying attention to Sotil that will receive that ball. He's looking at the ball, he's attracted by the ball. And you see that he's coming back walking, where Sotil is totally alone, because Khéphren is paying attention to the second post. Nobody's caring about him. After a few really strange ball bouncing in the box, that ball indeed arrives to Sotil, where he will be able to score. Where or who do we have to blame the most here? Everyone. From Cambiaso that slips, from Savona that is attracted because he wanted to do well but forget his position. Actually, he's, according to me, the least at fault. Conceicao that is walking, tracking back, not supporting the team. From Gatti that has been from the first frame until the last frame, someone that is marking nobody. You can even see it on the last image where he's not even close to Moise, or it was another striker here, I don't remember who. It's a problem. Everyone here is really at fault, and these are horrible things that cannot happen at the 86th minute after the experience that we had. We have another bad news, ragazzi. Gazzetta dello Sport is opening with, it's over with Fonseca from Milan. And who is the sub of Fonseca? It is Conceicao. Not our player, the father, that after Porto journey is over, is going to Milan, contract of 6 months, really strange management again here from Milan. What does it mean, 6 months contract? I don't understand it, but anyway, it's extremely annoying because they are our next opponent there in Saudi Arabia, and you know that when you are preparing a game against a coach that you never saw playing with their team, Milan, because it will be the really first one, it will be extremely difficult. Because you cannot plan, you cannot study, you don't know. And then we have also another problem. We have a Conceicao that is arriving right before the Mercato opens. If yesterday Milan was opening to the sale of Tomori, and they don't want to give the same formula as Kalulu, but they want to go towards a 5 million euro for the loan, 20 million with an obligation to buy already in June, and then possible 5 million to reach 25, 30 million euro. Well, with the arrival of Conceicao, Sergio, maybe all of these openness, etc., will totally change. In Saudi Arabia, maybe Tomori will be the starter. That's a big problem. That's a huge big problem. In Saudi Arabia, without Tomori, because of course we didn't count on him, but maybe even without Danilo, because the voices are going, yesterday he didn't enter, for example, towards even a Danilo not going there. We have no defense in Saudi Arabia. I can already tell you, tomorrow the team will leave for the Supercoppa, already there. They will do the old year, New Year celebration there, and then preparing their game against Milan. If we win against Milan, if we win the trophy, we'll come back with a smile, but it will be a temporary smile, because all the fears will be again there against Torino, Derby della Mole, in their home, without Locatelli, that has been suspended. He will not play. He will play against Milan. He will not play against Torino. And then we start with the January in Serie A, in Champions League, that is already decisive. So that joy of Supercoppa could be only really a short boost of energy, looking at what will happen in Serie A. Torino, Atalanta, again Milan, etc. Bruges, Benfica. If we don't win it, if we lose immediately against Milan, and I'm telling you against Milan, of Conceicao, that will be a huge, big depression phase for this Juventus, that will lose all the small certainties that we have today, because losing against a team that is not doing well, a team that is actually changing coach, a team that Conceicao today will not coach Milan. He will start his training session probably tomorrow, the day after, because tomorrow they will travel to Saudi Arabia. The time that they travel, they arrive there. Probably they will try to, they will start to train on the 1st. They will have 1-2 training sessions in their leg. If you lose against that Milan, ragazzi, so the Supercoppa from a possible joy can become a real nightmare. This is what I wanted to tell you in today's video. It's a long one. It's the post game. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you stayed until the end. Put a maximum of like if you didn't yet. Please continue to subscribe. Grazie, forza, Juve.